Welcome to Layers of Communication with your host, Lydia Taggart. Life presents experiences that add a layer to who we are and how we see the world, affecting how we communicate. Lydia is here to help you take apart the layers and create new ways to connect and build relationships. So now, please welcome the host of Layers of Communication, Lydia Taggart.
Hello, all my friends. Welcome to Layers of Communication. I'm so happy that you're here today. This is an amazing conversation piece that we're going to be doing today. What is the most important piece that you can teach your children? Or if you're going out into the world, you're going to be part of the workforce, you're going to be just talking to people and doing things. What's the most important thing that we can teach our children? My oldest son with Asperger's, he's graduating from high school. And so this is on my mind. And I think it's really important for us to identify and check in and say, have I taught my son what he needs to know? And can I help other people? I sure hope so. Okay, so I just got done with this really fantastic conversation that I was talking with a business owner. And I do this a lot when I'm visiting with other people. I go, is that true in my life? Has that happened with me? Can I relate? Can I learn from this? And I'm always checking in to see, did I teach my son what he needs to know? So I'm having this conversation with this business owner, and he's talking about his employees. And he actually had a mother come in and talk to him about one of his employees. Now he's working with teenagers, which is, kind of relevant. We're going to be having our son be part of the world. And so the first thing that struck me as really odd is that the parent would go in and speak for their child in an employment setting. If you're 30 or 40 years old, do you have your mom or dad come in and talk to your boss for you? I think that's really weird. And we want our kids to be independent and be able to stand up for themselves and take care of themselves. That's like our ultimate goal as parents, to have our kids grow up and be functioning people in society that benefit and help others around them, right? We want them to be happy, but we also want them to contribute. And, that builds self-confidence when you're able to contribute and know that you're doing something worthwhile, helping humanity, right? Helping the planet, helping. It's so important to have that value and to be able to do something that takes people out of depression. That just really is so important, to be able to contribute in some way. And it doesn't matter if you're getting paid a lot for it or a little or nothing. You give, and then you can receive. Taking is not the way it works. You got to give something and receive something. Nobody wants to pay for just nothing. You don't get paid for nothing, right? So I was visiting with this business owner, and he's telling me about this mom coming in. And that right there is a red flag. The mom comes in to save her son. And I've really stepped away from that with my son. He's got Asperger's, as mentioned before. And so there's a point where you have to be there and advocate for your child if they're having those kinds of issues. If they have an IEP as they're growing up, you step in and you help them, right? And so there's a transition that needs to happen somewhere in the teenage years, though, where they get to be their own person. They get to be independent, self-reliant, know that they can handle what's coming on in their lives, and just really step up and be a full-on grown-up. And so communication is a really big part of that, of course. We have had had some experiences learning how to communicate with our son. And this is how I developed the frame formula, where there's a way that you can teach your kids and talk with them and create an environment and a place where they feel free to speak to you and they want to have respect and they show respect and there's an accountability with action happening. It's a meaningful experience and everyone wins. That's the frame formula. That's the acronym, right? So we've done this with my son. And in the accountability section, this is where the transition happens, where if there's not an action and they're not held accountable for it, then they don't get that self-value. And it's true for all people. If you go into your boss, if you have a boss, and you go in and you say, hey, I'm doing this job, I did it. And he says, oh, well, it's not quite right. Let me show you what I need to happen. And then that experience, you might be like, but I thought I tried. And he said it wasn't good enough. Well, if it's not good enough for the person who's paying, then it's not good enough to get paid. Simple as that. you step it up. You go, oh, he's going to pay me to do it like this. I better do it like that so that I can get paid. Because that's the agreement. If you're an employee and you're getting paid for something, then you get paid for the something that you've agreed to do, right? And so this is something we need to teach our kids. And in this transition time of growing up, becoming your own person, we need to instill that. But it's not too late. It's never too late. If you're going to be 45 and you're having your mom come in and talk to your boss for you, there's a problem. And it's okay to transition wherever you are. If you're that far into life, I hope you've been able to have some experiences that allow you to have this confidence in yourself that you can handle it. And to be able to go and say, hey, I thought I did the best I could. I'll try harder next time. So that's the key. I did the best I could. I will try harder next time. It's an and. There's no excuses. There's no blaming. There's nothing to try and get out of. It's just, I thought I did my best. I'll do better. Okay. So then you go back and you fix whatever it is that the boss says it wasn't quite right. And then you take it back and say, okay, now is it good enough? I tried to fix it. And most likely they'll be like, yeah, good job. Thanks for fixing that. Maybe they don't say good job. Maybe they just are like, okay, job's done. I can pay you now. If you go to your parents and complain, or go to a neighbor or a friend and say, man, this isn't working out because it wants me to actually do something that I'm going to get paid for. So I think we've been doing pretty good with my son. I'm checking in and going, have I taught him that? Yeah, the frame formula is working. This accountability with action is giving him an ability to be accountable. Accountability. Accountable. You're able to account for your actions. And with that means anything good that you do, you get the good results from it. If you're not taking accountability for all of your stuff, mistakes or learning experiences, and the good things that you do, like it's amazing, there's no credit there. If you're going to blame someone or like it's not my fault, well then it's not your fault that it went right either. It's the same, like two sides of the same coin, but it's the same coin. It's the same thing. If you're going to get credit and praise, then you have to take the other stuff too. Accountable. You don't, it's the same. It's the same. It's just the same. And there's nothing wrong with it. Oh my goodness. I went to Wendy's sandwich shop, right? I went through the drive-thru and I said, I want extra lettuce, extra tomato. And I got my sandwich, and I parked, checked what it is, right? And they had no lettuce and no tomato. I had the best experience with that. I went in, I said, hey, I asked for extra and I got none. Okay, just okay. Here's your extra lettuce, here's your extra tomato. Sorry, have a good day. Thanks for coming in. It was so great. It was so great. I went somewhere else and I went in and I had ordered online for this one. And so I go in and I say, hey, I'm here to pick up my lunch. And they say, oh, well, here's a drink while you wait. Sorry, it's not ready. And I was like, okay, that's cool. They give me a drink. I get to be ready. Okay, that's cool. But when I went to pick it up, when it was ready, I got this big story about, oh, somebody else ordered right before you and we lost your papers and blah, blah, blah. And I don't care. I really don't care. It kind of spoiled my experience because before that, I was like, oh, cool, I get a drink while I wait. It's almost done. I've taken care of it. I can see they're busy. Okay. Just okay. But when they start giving me excuses, I'm like, so my order wasn't as important as someone else's. I got lost in the way. I have this big story and I just don't need it. It takes up more time, which I'm already late because they had the mishap, right? And it's just so not necessary. It really degrades the experience when we try to explain instead of just accepting and being accountable. Be accountable. I could have just been fine with my free drink while I was waiting and take my food and say thank you. It's been great. But instead, that experience, and they didn't even mess it up. There was nothing wrong with it. I actually was there 2 minutes early. I wasn't expecting them to have it ready for me just yet anyway. And it ended up being like 2 minutes late. 2 minutes is not enough for a big story and excuses. We don't need the excuses. It just gets in the way. Let them be accountable. And so that's a really big pet peeve I have. Just accept it. When we're in a customer service position, we don't need to make it all about us. We're serving. It's a customer service. And food places, of course, that's customer service, heavy kind of places, very service oriented. They don't care why the food's late. They don't care why it's messed up. They just want their food. And they certainly don't care to hear what the story of why it's late. They're in a hurry, they want their food, and you're already late. Stop taking up all their time. Just say, okay. That's all there is to it. Just say, okay. Here it is. Have a free drink while you wait. Sorry. My experience with Wendy's was just great. My kids, though, here's the fun thing. This ability to communicate your needs is so important. My kids were like, what, you're going to go in there and talk to them about it? I'm like, well, yeah, because it's not what I want. It's not what I ordered. It's not what I paid for. No big deal. You don't have to be mean about it or anything. Just, hey, I'd like some lettuce and tomato. Okay, here it is. It was so great. So great. Good job. Good job, Wendy's. You did so good. And then I get to be happy that they fixed it instead of grumble and complain that there's a problem. And just step up for yourself. Say, I want something different, and go take care of it. Take care of yourself. I mean, if there's a mistake, it's a mistake. We all make mistakes, right? We're all part of this humanity, and we make mistakes. So back to my son and his transitioning. Part of this accountability, teaching our kids how to be accountable and letting them have their mistakes. Let them have the consequences from it. especially when they're little. Now, they might feel bad because, you know, when we say that we've done something wrong or not done it well enough, and I think that we've done our best, then it kind of hurts. But if we are just trying to get out of it and it's really going to make me do that job, really, I have to do it if I'm going to get paid, that's a little different. And then we just are hurt because we're getting called out on our inaction. But if we're trying our best and we've really done our best and it still came back that, hey, you need to do better, that hurts. That's going to hurt a little bit. But we can kind of buffer that pain with this simple mindset. Okay, we just want to be clear with ourselves, completely honest, and completely open to receiving growth. And that's what it comes down to with this accountability. We want to grow. We need to have space to grow. And if we're going to deny feedback, then we can't grow. And that's all it is with being accountable, is feedback. I had this coworker. We were going through a change, and during the change at work, all the customers are giving surveys of how was your experience, right? Because that is so vitally important for a business. If you're putting out a new product or you're putting out any kind of new systems, we want to know that it works. The business needs to know what the customers are experiencing. It's just feedback. If you say, okay, so let's go with the food example again. If you're going to be making sandwiches, let's go with Wendy's. If you're going to say everything comes with extra tomatoes all the time, that's our new thing. I pretend, okay? So if we get new extra tomatoes on everything, you're going to have a lot of people who are going to say, I don't want tomatoes at all. I don't want extra tomatoes. And you're going to have feedback. And people, if they don't say that they don't like it, and the business thinks, oh, that's great, everybody loves tomatoes, we're going to give everybody extra tomatoes. And if there's 90% of the people were happy with the tomatoes the way they were before, and they don't want extra tomatoes, then it's not going to be good business to push extra tomatoes on people, even if it is healthier. If people like it the way it was before and they don't like the change, the business needs to know it so that they can go to the better practice. They're going to lose business. They're going to lose customers. They're going to have unhappy people complaining about them. And it's just so important to have feedback. And we forget sometimes that as a person, individually, we benefit from feedback the same way. It helps us to grow. It helps us be better. And if there's maybe 5 out of 100 people who say they don't like the extra tomatoes, okay, that's an experience. 5 out of 100, thanks for sharing. It looks like it's working for everybody else. If you've got 30 people who say, I love the extra tomatoes, this is the best idea ever, then it's probably better. But if you get one feedback, and this is what I was visiting with my coworker about, if you get one feedback, he was in a tizzy. He was like, oh, we're done with surveys. Did you see what they wrote about me? Blah, blah, blah. He was all having a freak out. And it's just someone's comment, right? That's one experience. They decided they don't like tomatoes as much as somebody else. It's just an experience. But if you get 5 or 6 people telling you the same thing, stop giving them the tomatoes. If everyone says the same thing, you look at it and go, oh, okay, maybe this is an area that I really need to look at. It doesn't have to be a personal attack. It's just someone's opinion. It's an experience that they're having. It doesn't have to be a personal attack to be accountable for our actions. Everyone has different points of view. And my point of view is that they're learning experiences. It's growth opportunities. And oh, my golly, if I get a whole bunch of people telling me the same thing, I am sure going to go try to figure it out. If I have a piece of spinach or something stuck in my teeth and one person says it, I'm like, okay. But if I've got 5 people coming up and say, hey, you've got something stuck between your teeth, I'm like, holy cow, where's the mirror? I need to find out why everybody's telling me this. Where is it? And I'm going to take care of it. And that's all feedback is. That's how we be accountable. Like, we just take care of it and fix it. Okay? Okay. So this can be really hard for some people because it does hurt our feelings. And feelings are meant to be balanced. Back to the story of the business owner and the mom going in to talk with him. The sweet mom. And, you know, in psychology, we have this phrase that people use a lot in communicating. It's gone a little bit extreme, and we need to reel it back in. So this part's true. We don't want to be blaming people, right? We don't want to just go into a conversation or disagreement or anything and say, you did this, you did that. We don't want to just put blame on people and say it's all your fault. But the flip side of it is, I feel like, and we forget the word like, is when you do this, I feel like that. I feel like this because when you did that, I interpreted it like blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, get an example story. If we say, okay, you cut me off in traffic. There's a good one. You cut me off in traffic. You're causing accidents, blah, blah, blah. Or, I feel like you're being unsafe. I feel really scared and nervous to be around you when you cut me off in traffic and you drive crazy. And that's putting it on us, right? I feel like it. And so then you can have a better conversation instead of having the defenses up, like, oh, you're attacking me and I'm causing problems and I don't think I am. I wasn't aware that I cut you off, or whatever it is, right? And there's a whole lot of contention that goes into it when you just start off with you did blah, blah, blah. But on the other side, knowing that feelings are meant to be felt, so important. We take that accountability back on ourselves and say, I feel this way because. And I would even say, I feel scared and nervous because your driving is kind of crazy. And then they can take a few, it takes them out to a further out layer that they can look at it from a bigger perspective instead of just being all defensive. But what we don't need anymore, you hurt his feelings when you told him that he didn't do it right. Because if you didn't do it right, it's not done right. And it's an opportunity to grow. That's feedback. And if the person that is giving you that feedback is paying you for the job that you're not doing right, you're not going to have that job very long. You're not going to have that job very long if you're not willing to take the feedback and improve. And I know a lot of people are so impatient with just everything. If we take our learning moments and say, oh, yeah, you're right, that dish really isn't clean. I should wash it with soap instead. We have this with our teenagers. Did you shower? Okay, well, you don't look like you're clean. Did you use soap? Oh, no. Soap is important if you're going to get clean in the shower. You should shampoo with soap, not just get wet. And, I've got 5 boys. So that comes up less now than it used to, but it has been a big topic. We need to use soap when you shower. When we're teaching our kids, they can be accountable for themselves. Yeah, I didn't use soap. You're right. Because I can tell I can smell you coming from the other room. I don't need to even see how dirty you still look. I know that you didn't use soap. And it's like that. When we make mistakes and we're not being accountable for it, we're trying to push it off. I'm like, well, yeah, I did shower. I did get wet. I totally turned on the shower and I got in the shower. But if you've not used the soap, you're not clean. And it doesn't matter how much you say that you're doing it and putting off on, well, the water wasn't hot enough. Well, the water being hot doesn't really get you all that much cleaner. I mean, it's nice to have a hot shower, but still need to use soap. And it's the same kind of concept. I hope you're getting this because it's just okay. There's nothing wrong with getting feedback. And just please take an accounting of our teaching of our kids. Are we teaching them to be account able? Are we protecting their feelings too much? Are we worrying that they're going to feel bad? You know what? Sometimes people feel bad because that's a feeling, and feelings are meant to be felt. And it's a feeling that has a purpose. Our feelings have reasons. There's reasons why we have them. And the feeling bad is something needs to change so I can feel better, right? And so that would be, if I do the job the way it's been given as the feedback I need to improve, then I will feel so much better. Just think about it. When you finally get to the bathroom and you see what that thing is that's stuck in your teeth that you have no idea that everybody's telling you about, oh, I'm so glad I got that out of my teeth. I'm so glad that nobody else is going to come up and tell me I did it wrong. And now somebody might say, wow, I love your smile. You look so happy today. Instead of, ooh, what's that thing in your mouth? It's the same. It's the same. Just take it and go, oh, I need to improve. I can try again. And then give yourself that prize, that accomplishment that you did it better. You have improved. Let our kids have that moment that, yes, you can do it. You did it better. Really, really big. My oldest right now with his Asperger's, and I've been letting him be in charge of his homework on his own. We struggle sometimes. We've struggled in the past with getting all the homework done and being organized and knowing which things are due when and remembering to turn it in, talking to the teacher if you need help, so many things. And, you know, it's kind of hard sometimes to let them be responsible. Responsible is that you're response able. You're able to respond. And it goes hand in hand with account able. You can account for how you respond, but you can only do it if it's your own. You're not able to account for someone else. You're not able to respond for someone else. Oh, so many times my kids are like, oh, I can do that. I'm like, it's not your job. And my kids actually fight over whose job it is. If I say, hey, Brendan, will you get me the milk? Hey, Merrick, will you turn the light off? If Evan goes and tries to get the milk or turn the light off, I hear about it. Hey, Evan, Mom told me to do it. I'm doing it. That's my job. And they go crazy because they want to be accountable. They want to have responsibility, even for something little. We thrive as a human race. It doesn't seem like we should, but we really do. We thrive on our ability to contribute to society and our ability to say, yes, I am good. I am doing good for the world, and I am good. We get value from it. We get value from doing stuff. Let's let our kids be responsible and let them have accountability. Okay, because You are worth it. And so are they. You're worth it. Worth letting them be their own people. So this mom that went in and was having this conversation with the business owner could not understand this concept. She argued with the business owner and said, "You're hurting my son because you're hurting his feelings." And he said, "Well, how is it hurting him to show him how to do the job right?" And she said, "Well, doing it right is someone's perspective. You're hurting his feelings." It's just the perspective. Which perspective matters? If your employer is paying you for a job, that's the perspective that matters. If you're not doing what the boss says, you don't get paid for it. And so she just argued with him, and that employee is no longer there. And I think the mother and the son probably both are like, "Well, good, because he wasn't very friendly and nice." But he doesn't mean about it. You need to improve. If you're given an opportunity, just take it as an opportunity. Take it for what it is. If you're getting paid for something, step it up. Step it up. And if you see anything that I need to improve, please tell me. I will not be embarrassed. I will not be mad. I might not take it. I might say, okay, that's 1 out of 100 people who have said that particular comment. It's an experience. But if I get 70 people saying the same thing, you better believe I'm going to change something. Better believe it. Right, because I do value your opinion. I value my son's opinion. And this is just so important, to allow our kids to have this confidence. Allow them to be responsible. Allow them to be accountable. Okay, you're worth it, and so are they. Thanks for joining me. I'm Lydia Taggart, and this is Layers of Communication. When you step in your communication skills, you're going to have some really improved relationships with everyone. If there is the accountability and responsibility changes so much. Just can't even express how much improved your life will be when everyone, can you imagine that? If everyone just stepped up and said, "Yeah, that's me, sorry, my fault." What would that be? Oh, can you imagine? Okay, it's going to be a great world. It's going to be a great day. I'll talk to you later. Love ya.
You've been listening to Layers of Communication with your host, Lydia Taggart. Tune in next week as we discover the layers in order to communicate and connect down to your core on Lydia Taggart's Layers of Communication.